Well, hello. Good evening. And a very, 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 very good evening it is, ladies and gentlemen. Holy swear words that I'm not allowed to say in the first few seconds of a YouTube video. We wanted, we coped, we salivated, we gnashed our teeth, and we yelled and screamed, and this new Monster Hunter game has been announced, boys. Holy cow, dude. Um, so I was on call, watched the Game Awards front to back with a couple of buddies. Pretty good show tonight. Baldur's Gate 3 sweep. Pretty happy about that for the most part. And they kept on announcing stuff and announcing stuff. A lot of cool looking games coming out and about. Pretty cool stuff. And they said, we got one more world premiere for you, and we're going to let it speak for itself. And spoke indeed, it did. Ladies and gentlemen, Monster Hunter Wilds has been announced, releasing in 2025. And 2025 is a good little deal away, even at the most earliest in 2025. That's still a little smidgen over a year. That's still 13 months at the soonest. But I think we can do it, boys. I think we can wait. I think it's gonna be worth it. So I've got this trailer nice and low. We're gonna talk about this bad boy. We're gonna talk about Monster Hunter Wilds. It's a good day. December 7th, 2023 is a pretty good day, all things considered. So we're gonna take this like little bit by little bit, and we're just gonna talk about what we're seeing here. Right off the rip, dude, the amount of just animals the size. So I talked about this actually when I was talking about how I think Monster Hunter, the next game, was going to be special. That video. Um, I talked about how I was wondering if we were going to start to move away from enclosed battle arenas separated by hallways, and we were going to go into much more broader, bigger environments. And a little early to tell, but I might have called that the amount of space that's going on. Like if this is a battle zone, that's a big battle zone. But look at the amount of animals that we have. Um, they're It really seems like they're doubling down even harder than World ever did on the creation of an environment. We have these armored quadrupeds that are in this area. We have these bipeds over here, and we have like birds chilling out. It very, very kind of like African savanna esque in its presentation, which I think is super cool. I think that's an environment that'd be really cool for Monster Hunter. So just like the amount of stuff that's on their screens simultaneously. Yeah, so we have these like armadillo looking guys. I'm going to assume probably dimorphism between male and female. I'm going to say these guys are probably males, these ones are probably females. That's some pretty small Monster Hunter standard stuff. Hanging out around this riverbed with these. I'm loving the touch of like little birds hanging out on the backs of these herbivores. Um, just such a cool detail to see the life interacting with one another. And you have these guys, kind of reminiscent looking of Kestodon, a little bit different. And then we have these little guys running. I'm taken in specifically by just how many like different animals we're seeing interacting and sharing environments. And existing in the same spaces. I think this is a very natural progression of Monster Hunter, because typically with you have monsters that are hanging out in their own select zones. Usually, you don't have a lot of small monster mingling, with a couple of minor exceptions here and there. But here we have like one, two, three, four different species of probably small monsters, and also probably like endemic life type of things, all packed in together. And I assume we're going to explore a lot of how they interact with one another, how they build off of one another, how they coexist in an environment. We're also a lot of focus on like these guys right here, these weird like needle rock formation towers we got going on. Another one of those right here, which they have to have some form of significance. Looks like we got our small monster raptors, and we are going with we still have mounts, which I think is a good idea. I think the tail raider system was kind of rough, but a neat idea. The palamutes were a really cool idea. Whether or not these are domesticatable small monsters or if these are replacing palamutes, we don't know yet. But we're sticking with mounts, and I think for maps that are getting bigger and bigger and more complex, that's probably an idea for the better. And we're gonna see whatever this sandstorm is, whatever these bear things we have chasing after us. We're getting, again, look at just how many organisms are here all together. So question is, are these going to be small monsters? Are these going to be large monsters? That's going to be an interesting question. Like, are we potentially facing off against packs of large monsters together? That'd be particularly interesting, because these bear-looking things look particularly tough, and they're snapping at these smaller armored guys. This sandstorm just eclipses everything, and the whole world devolves into chaos. I'm assuming that this is a replacement for Palamutes. This is going to be like a default type of thing, just by the abilities that this thing has. Seems to be pretty specific, and we have a lot of traversal options with them. Yeah, these spiky needle things have to be something, right? There's so many of them. We're seeing them like deliberately struck by lightning and whatnot. Um, who knows? All right, very interesting. So this like dust cloud comes. So we have like a very kind of like barren, sandy environment. Dust cloud comes rolling over, and then we have these grasslands. So dynamic weather, dynamic environments. My buddies and I were wondering if like the sandstorm we see and the lightning strikes are, is that just the weather being wild? Is that being caused but by whatever flagship we're gonna have to deal with? What the hell is this thing back here? What is up with these things? Are gonna have to be some form of interactable. Um, but one thing I'm definitely loving, another thing I've talked about, it's a very sandy environment, absolutely. But I have been dying for some more color in Monster Hunter. I thought the amount of washed out that the fifth generation was very disappointing. And yeah, we have a lot of sand going on right here, but we have like this bright, very vibrant tan brown looking grass. Vibrant greens on the trees and everything, the colors of the animals and whatnot. And this is when it hits, because this was kind of like the world trailer where it definitely it kind of felt like Monster Hunter. You see the dude with the weapon and whatnot. It's like, is this Monster Hunter? And then like this logo comes up and like, holy crap, it actually is. Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm definitely interpreting this as being much more vast, much more wide, grand, and open than even World was. Even because World insinuated like grandeur and size and scope and scale, and this seems to just take that and run with it even bigger. Like where's the battle zone for the big monster? Is it this to this? Like what could you possibly be fighting? What are the limits of the sizes of the bosses? What is the quest structure going to look like? What does the hub look like? Um, is it one giant continuous map with your typical biomes inserted into it? Um, how far out, like over this horizon over here can you go? Like how far out here into the mountains can you go? Do I get to go over here and explore what this like crescent structure is, and this one over here? What's the background? This almost looks like monster. I don't want to call it Monster Hunter Breath of the Wild because it's not Monster Hunter Breath of the Wild. It's not Dinosaur Dark Souls. That's goofy. But there's something going on with all these spiky spires sticking up out of the ground and these very deliberate looking rock formation shapes you got over here and over here. Oh, jeez. I mean, what are we gonna be doing? What do the quests look like? What's the village look like? What's the hub look like? Is this one map? Is it all one map? Where are the bosses? I mean, we're about to see one in a couple seconds, but dude, how is this game gonna work? Like, it almost doesn't feel like Monster Hunter. It's so fascinating, how just evolved this is from even this feels different from Rise. This feels different from World. Like it's Monster Hunter, but it's so different in such an interesting and fascinating way. In taking a game like this that feels so broad, so big, so dense, how are they going to adapt what we know about this game? Logo looks really good too. So one, two, three, four, five, six. I would assume. I mean, usually you can kind of like track the generations with the wyvern heads. So like, is this one, two? So you have like one, two, three, four, five, and then six. So start of the sixth generation. I'd assume that's kind of what this logo is supposed to be saying. I don't know. We're kind of moving away from the numbers a little bit, a little less relevant as we go, but I don't know. Who knows? Very beautiful looking logo too. Assuming this is great sword, I don't know. It looks a little narrow. Might be longsword. Couldn't tell you. Very interesting. And we even have like the what looks like the butt of a gun. Like, do we have a bow gun like in this drawbag? Can you carry? Oh, that would be interesting if like you could load up your helper right here with like extra items and extra weapons and what. Hmm. That would be interesting if they took like the idea of item and weapon restocking and like that unlimited thing and they tied it to like an arsenal you can pack in with your ant. That would be interesting. Too early to tell, but I just noticed this. Like this looks like the stock of a gun in this bag right here with the sword on his back. If you can like bring like a spare loadout with you, that's a really cool idea. That's a really cool idea actually. We'll have to see if that's a thing. And there's the big guy. That's the dude who tells you where we are. And speaking of color, it's a distant shot, but right off the bat, immediately, Even from a distance, he looks better than fifth generation Rathalos. That little bit of like orange tint he's got in the wings, that like nice dark red he's got in the scales, again, little tough to tell from here. Um, he's almost got like Dread King colors going on, actually. Let me look him up real quick. Yeah, he's almost got like Dread King orange going on, which is kind of cool. Like it's a lot of browns and a lot of greens and oranges and whatnot, but already color design wise, this looks better than the fifth generation, which was something I really wanted. And just look at the size of Rathalos compared to the size of the environment. Like this kind of reminds me of like the opening trailer from Try of seeing Rathalos flying against a giant environment, but like feasibly we get to fight him down here like along this like so we got like a like a little chasm thing going kind of looking right here. We got a river right here. We got these rolling hills and these trees and these spikes and these spires. Like, do we get to fight him in and around like all of this? Do we get all of this fighting space to duel him in? That's wild. It's gonna be a little bit of a wait. It's gonna be a little bit of a wait until we get to play this properly. Which it stings as it kind of sets in a little bit that oh damn, it's gonna be 2025. Like I said, minimum 13 months. That is some time, and it's time I'll be using well. Because I have a lot more stuff to talk about within Rise for like videos and stuff like that. I still have a lot of stuff to do with Rise. So 2024 I think is going to be a really good year as I build up the channel, and as news starts to come out about Monster Hunter Wilds. I think 2024 is going to be a really nice like building year. Like 2023, that was the establishment year. 2024 is going to be the building year. And then 2025, when this game comes out, that's going to be like the big burst year. I'm gonna run this on like a lower quality because I think my OBS is a little struggling with this just a little bit. And I'm not gonna be able to tell how good the quality is until I actually run this back. But like we're gonna just watch this back a little bit again. So I apologize if the quality is subpar. Just listen to my voice, and you'll get the crux of the content anyway. Yeah, so there's like a gun stock in the bag. There's a sword on his back, and all of these animals all together. This sandstorm creating all of this chaos and whatnot. I'm wondering if these look at them like just wrecking through these like armadillo looking guys. Lightning strikes are coming down. These environmental interactions we're getting. Like it almost doesn't look like Monster Hunter. I'm so interested how the classic formula is going to evolve into a game that looks like this. I have so many questions. This is a direction I kind of figured we were going to be taking, but now that we're here, I'm so curious what the team's going to do. It's funny that I've been going back and playing Generations Ultimate and really getting a touch and taste for the classic original Monster Hunter, and then to see it's funny that I've been playing that recently, and then to see this, to see where we've been and now where we're going. Craziness, dude. Craziness to see where we're going. How is it going to be reinterpreted? How are the quests going to work? How are the fights going to work? How are they going to be rebalanced for all this space? What new mechanics are we dealing with? Are we looking at like portable loadout exchanges and stuff like that. That'd be super interesting because that's kind of what I feel like I'm looking at. But again, I'm not going to promise anything. This is only speculation so far. But we have like dynamic weather, like not even just dynamic weather, but sandstorms and lightning storms coming, rolling in and riling up the local wildlife and getting them to attack each other and barge into one another. Dozens and dozens of life forms all at the same time, all interacting with these events going on. Again, this is very, very cinematic, but I got to assume the gameplay is somewhat like this. Like, what the heck are these things? And if these are bosses, there are three of them in one, like, sitting all together. That's why I'm kind of feeling like they're probably, like, typically class small monsters, but they're pretty big, right? So if there's three boss monsters all in one place, just like how much stuff is going to be out in the world simultaneously? Like how much stuff is going to be interacting with one another, and like what are they all going to be doing with one another and to one another? You have the lightning comes crashing in and it strikes the horn of this one guy, and that starts lighting up blue. So are like the monsters gonna have different interactions with different weather types and whatnot? And what does that mean? That's a very Frontier type of idea, actually. If you remember me talking about Kuwatasapusu from Frontier, who was up in I believe like the Highlands, like he got different powers depending on lightning storms or depending on sunshine. He got fire powers in the sun and lightning powers during storms. Are we gonna get stuff like that? If are we gonna get like seasons in here? Like it feels like they're very much like bringing in the environment and the weather and the surroundings and the ecosystem as its own force into this game, which is very, very interesting, which I think is a very natural progression for Monster Hunter. And yeah, like look at this shot of this dust cloud coming in and changing all of this scenery so drastically. Like, what does that mean? What does that entail? Monster Hunter Wilds 2025. And there he is. There's that symbol of home I keep talking about. There's the guy. The dude who tells you that everything is gonna be alright. what a what a day. What a day, dude. Pretty good Game Awards caps off with what we were all hoping for. Again, I apologize if the trailer footage being shown here isn't all that great. You know, OBS do what OBS do. I apologize. If it's extra poopy, I'll leave like a note in the beginning of the video, just to let you guys know. But it's real. It's real. It's gonna be a good time, boys. 2024. We're gonna let 2024 take its time. All right, we're gonna let it take its time. We're gonna let them do their thing. We're gonna enjoy the year, right? You don't want to waste the time. You don't want to sit around and just wait for the time to pass. We're gonna have a good 2024. We're gonna speculate about this game. We're gonna learn about this game. Probably get a demo about this game. Get some footage and whatnot. We're going to talk about this game a ton through 2024. We're going to enjoy speculating and being excited all next year, right? And then 2025, we get our hands on this. Hopefully early. I'm going to say probably early. Monster Hunter doesn't tend to keep us waiting for too long. Already, this is going to be like the longest wait we've had. I think that's probably why they announced this tonight, is that they knew we wanted it. and they know it's going to take a while. This very much screams to me as a don't worry, it exists. And this was a really good teaser for today because it's not nothing, right? It's a good minute and a half with a good amount of speculation. Tells us a good amount of the vibes that we're going to be getting. But one of the thing I saw like Rage Gaming talking about this isn't like too much. And they're definitely going to be like quieting down for a good long while. Mostly because they probably don't want Monster Hunter Wilds to clash with Dragon's Dogma 2 all that much. So I feel like this was a really good teaser for right now because Dragon's Dogma 2 can go on like full thing, full tilt with its marketing and whatnot. We know this exists, but it's coming out at such a much later date that they don't really have to ramp up the marketing for it, and they can let Dragon's Dogma 2 just kind of sit and keep going, do as well as it can. I think this was a really good move. Our hunger has been sated for Monster Hunter. DD2 isn't going to be cut into all that much by this. And we have something to look forward to and something to talk about and something to be excited about and to freak out about. I know it's going to be a little while. But we're going to be okay. It's going to be a good time. This has been CR-Volcanic or Connor. Today was a good day. Get excited. Love you guys. See you around. Shout out to all the patrons, and special shout out to Nihilus Chimerax, Datboy Doindading, and Pico Plush. Thanks a lot, guys.